Welcome back to the Drone Bible. I'm going to cover something near and dear to my heart, which is high power microwave HPM weapons. And I was looking at the database today, working with our database, and I didn't really see what I was after. And turns out people are starting to swarm around using an HPM. Let me just tell you that the trouble with HPM currently today, people are trying to think of setting up one big microwave beam on the ground and point it to the sky and knock things out, burn out electronics, and down they come. That isn't real yet. Part of it is, but it's really, really limited as to the distance it can go. The more right answer is to fly something into those drone swarm that would electrocute them and bring them down, and then that particular device, missile, drone, would then come back and land to get recharged or refurbished in some fashion. So there is one company, Lockheed Martin, used to work with them, used to work for them actually, that is really looking to put that type of holy grail solution into play. So it is still experimental. It has been flying, and it has had some great successes. It still has a little bit more to go, though, but I thought it would be worth looking at in a video. So here you go. Mr. Tyler will educate us along the way, and I'll catch you on the backside.
Here is the math that keeps every air defense planner awake at night. A Patriot missile costs about $4 million. A Shahed 136 costs about $35,000. That is a 100-to-1 cost ratio in the wrong direction. Now imagine the adversary launches not one drone, but 50, or 100, or 1,000. The defender runs out of magazine before the attacker runs out of drones. That is the swarm problem. And it is the single hardest unsolved problem in modern air defense. Every counter-drone solution currently in service has the same fundamental flaw. It is one shot, one kill. One interceptor consumed per incoming drone. Some are cheaper than Patriot and Dual Roadrunner, the Ukrainian Eclipse, the various interceptor drones in the Brave 1 portfolio. But the magazine math does not change. If your defense costs more per engagement than the adversary's attack, you lose by attrition. And there are not enough magazines in the Western inventory to absorb a sustained Chinese or Russian saturation attack. So what is the answer? The honest answer, the one that almost nobody outside of a very small circle of directed energy engineers will tell you, is that the answer is reusable airborne high-power microwave. A flying platform that carries a microwave generator, flies out toward the swarm, fires a single pulse that disables many drones at once, and comes back home to refit and do it again. That is the Holy Grail. And today we are going to talk about the system that comes closest to it. It is called MORFIUS. It is built by Lockheed Martin. And it is still under development. Before we get to MORFIUS itself, let's talk about why high-power microwave is the right effector for this problem. There are three options on the table for non-kinetic counter-drone defense: lasers, electronic warfare jamming, and high-power microwave. Each has different physics, and the physics determines what each one can and cannot do. A laser is a very narrow, very intense beam of light energy. It hits a single point on a single target. It burns through structure or sensor optics. The kill mechanism is thermal. Lasers are excellent against single high-value targets at long range. They are terrible against swarms because they can only engage one drone at a time. Each kill takes seconds of dwell time. Against a swarm of 50 drones moving at 300 kilometers an hour, a laser runs out of dwell time before it runs out of targets. Electronic warfare jamming is broadcast radio noise that overwhelms the drone's communication or navigation links. It is wide area and non-kinetic. The problem is that modern drones are increasingly autonomous, increasingly resistant to GPS denial, and increasingly capable of executing preloaded missions without communication links at all. Jamming a drone that does not need its data link to complete its mission is like shouting at someone wearing noise-canceling headphones. High-power microwave is different from both. It is a pulse of intense electromagnetic energy delivered across a beam pattern. Not a focused point, a footprint. The kill mechanism is electrical, not thermal. It overloads, latches up, or destroys the silicon inside the drone's flight controller, motor controller, communication radios, and sensors. It does not care whether the drone is autonomous, jammed resistant, or off the grid. If the drone has electronics, the HPM pulse fries them. And one pulse covers a footprint, not a point. That means one engagement kills multiple drones. That last sentence is the entire reason airborne HPM is the holy grail. Single pulse, multiple kills. The magazine math finally tilts back in favor of the defender. Now here's the second piece of the puzzle. HPM exists today on ground platforms. Epirus Leonidas, Raytheon Thor, several others. Those systems work. But they have a critical weakness. They are stationary. Their effective range is somewhere between a few hundred meters and a couple of kilometers depending on the system. And when the threat is a Shahed inbound at 180 kilometers an hour from 20 kilometers away, a ground-based HPM cannot help. The threat will reach its target before it ever enters the HPM engagement envelope. The answer to that range problem is to fly the HPM source toward the threat. That is what MORFIUS does. Lockheed took the Arrai Altius 600 airframe, a small, tube-launched, fixed-wing drone that fits inside a 6-inch diameter launch canister and weighs less than 30 pounds, and integrated a miniaturized HPM payload into it. The result is a flying microwave weapon. Tube-launched from a ground vehicle, a ship, or another aircraft. Flies out toward the incoming swarm. Fires the HPM pulse. Disables multiple targets in a single engagement. Returns to the launch grid. Refits. Goes back out. And here's the part that almost no other system in the field does. MORFIUS is recoverable. It is reusable. Battery swap, replace the propeller if it got damaged, and it goes back up. Compare that to every other counter-drone interceptor on the market. Roadrunner is reusable but kinetic, one target per sortie. Eclipse is single-use. Sting is single-use. Almost everything in the Brave 1 catalog is single-use. MORFIUS is the only widely publicized system that combines reusability with multi-target effect. That combination is what makes the magazine math finally work. Now I am going to be honest about where the program actually is, because the marketing language is ahead of the engineering reality. MORFIUS has been in development since 2018. Lockheed has conducted more than 15 test events with it. The system has demonstrated effectiveness against Group 1 drones, that is the small stuff, under 20 pounds, low altitude, the kind of quadcopter or hand-launched fixed-wing platforms you see in commercial photography. It has also demonstrated effectiveness against Group 2 drones, under 55 pounds, mid-altitude, slightly larger reconnaissance and loitering munition class. But the operationally relevant target is Group 3. That is the Shahed class. That is the one-way attack munition. That is what is hitting Ukrainian cities every week. And in 2023, the Joint Counter-UAS Office tested MORFIUS at Yuma Proving Grounds against Group 3 drones at slant ranges of 4 kilometers or greater. The Pentagon's official statement after that test was that the system, quote, needs more development and testing for that mission profile. That is the polite way of saying that against the threat that actually matters, MORFIUS is not yet there. This is not a failure of the program. It is a reflection of how hard the engineering problem is. A larger drone has more shielded electronics, more redundant systems, and a larger physical mass that is harder to disable with a single HPM pulse. The energy required to defeat a Group 3 drone at 4 kilometers is dramatically higher than the energy required to defeat a Group 1 drone at 500 meters. The peak power on the airborne HPM source has to scale, and scaling peak power on a 30-pound airframe is exactly where the engineering gets brutal. There is also a trade-off that Lockheed has not publicly resolved. The Altius 600 airframe has a finite battery budget. Every joule of energy that goes into the HPM source is a joule that does not go into propulsion. So the more engagements you want per sortie, the less endurance and range you have. The more endurance you want, the fewer engagements. That trade-off curve is the central design question, and Lockheed has not disclosed where on the curve they have landed. Here's where I land on Morpheus. The system is not yet operational. It does not yet defeat the Shahed class threat that everyone actually cares about. The endurance and range numbers are not public. The recovery mechanism details are not public. The Pentagon has not yet committed to a program of record. By every conventional metric, this program is in development, and development programs sometimes do not deliver. And yet I think Morpheus matters more than almost any other counter-drone program in the public domain. Here is why. The strategic case is correct. The physics is correct. The architectural choices, airborne placement, beam footprint engagement, recoverability, and reuse are the right architectural choices for the swarm defense problem. The engineering problem of scaling peak power on a small airframe is hard, but it is not impossible. It is the kind of problem that gets solved through iteration, not breakthrough. Every test event that Lockheed runs at Yuma is a data point that informs the next iteration. And there's one more reason. Morpheus is not the only program in this space. Epirus is exploring airborne variants of Leonidas. Anduril, having absorbed AREI, has the airframe expertise and is building its own counter-UAS architecture around Roadrunner and other platforms. Raytheon has Champ heritage. BAE and the European primes are all watching closely. The airborne HPM category is going to mature over the next 3 to 5 years. Morpheus is the lead program in that category. Whether Morpheus itself crosses the finish line or whether a competitor catches up and surpasses it, the architecture Morpheus demonstrates is going to define how the West defends against drone swarms in the next war. So if you are reading the press releases and you see Morpheus described as a fielded system, push back. It is not. If you see it described as just a science experiment, push back the other direction. It is much more than that. It is the most mature implementation of an architecture that the entire industry is converging on, and the architecture is the right one. The drone that flies out, fires once, kills many, and comes home, that is what wins the swarm war. Morpheus is closest. The race is still open.
Well, I hope you found this HPM discussion interesting. I know I did. And I'll throw out a couple of things to think about. Some people seem to think that, like, bigger missile, bigger target, you have to have more power. That's just not true. Matter of fact, it's the opposite. The more electronics you have on board, the easier it is to couple into it with HPM. So it's a matter of them finding their way. Also, the one thing that most people think of is they have to attack the space charge layer junction in transistors or chips. That's not true either. So there are other options on how to confuse chips and make them go run home to mama than it is to try to burn them out. However, if you can burn them out, that's good. Quite a bit of the architecture that HPM is going to have to deal with is all written literally in Mill Standard 461 Gulf. If you could reverse engineer that, which anybody can, an open literature, those are the frequencies that ultimately end up being what kills electronics or confuses it. So without any more further ado, I hope you enjoyed this. And stay put, because we're going to have on the screen in just a second a link where you can get the data card for free from archive.org. I'm Peter Brussel, and I'll see you on the web.
Before you go, make sure and get the free download of the data card for the drone shown in this video. Also, if you are enjoying these videos, please subscribe to our channel to receive notifications of new videos being uploaded.